You're listening to the Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode number 15. Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets. What's up, coaches? In this episode, I am going to talk about how to get certified as a coach. Now, in order to get certified, it's going to require you go through a coach training program that offers certification. Surprise, surprise. Now, in my last episode, I shared with you that there's really two paths that one can take in their coaching career. You can wander aimlessly through the night and hope and pray it works out and rely on your life experience as a coach, or you can learn a proven framework for success. And that is the path that would require you get your certification. Now, getting your certification and deciding on that can be a very exciting exploration for someone to go on, and it can also be very intimidating because you might not know where to begin, what to look for, and also the real kind of support you're going to need. In fact, I was talking on the phone with someone a few weeks ago, and they told me, she said that she wants to get certified, but she was just so overwhelmed by all the options out there, and she wished that someone could inform her on what she should look for. So in this episode, I'm going to share exactly that. I'm going to break down what to look for in a coach training program. I'm also going to talk about what to avoid. So I've compiled the top 9 most important things to consider for all people that want to become coaches if they want to have the best learning experience and also have all their needs met. And I think some of these considerations that I'm going to share with you will surprise you. You may not have thought of it before. Now, I understand that those of you listening that are thinking about becoming a coach, you may want to do your due diligence if you're in your research phase. So this episode will give you some tips to help you in that process and help you make your final decision. There are so many coach training programs out there, and it's very important to know what you're looking for. Otherwise, you just might get more confused, you might delay yourself, and you just don't want to be researching schools without having a plan. Now, disclaimer, I want to address the elephant in the room. I am the founder of Thriving Coach Academy, and I believe, hands down, our program is the best. I think there is zero competition, so I do have a little bit of bias here, but the reason that I hope you do listen to what I have to share is because I've heard some horror stories out there. I've had people tell me, I went and signed up with this other school, I paid them all this money, and I still don't feel like I know how to coach or run my own business. And it shocks me, it saddens me when I hear those things. So whether you listen to this and you decide to enroll in the academy or another program, my intention is to support you in making the most informed decision you can make. And I care more about the coaching industry as a whole than just getting more students into the academy. I want to make sure that coaches across the board are set up for success and also getting access to the best training that they could possibly get. And I believe that when that happens, it lifts up our whole industry. Better coaches go out into the world and make more of a difference. So the whole planet benefits when coaches are getting properly trained. Now, I have been through various coach trainings and business trainings myself, and I don't regret a single training that I got, but I do know ways that I could have been better informed now as I look back. There were a couple of, I think, shiny objects that I got lured into, and I didn't know really what to look for. So like I said, I don't regret any of the trainings that I've been through, but I certainly know now things that I wish that I would have known when I was choosing coach training and business training programs. So for example, I went with a program that taught you how to use a particular assessment tool with clients. And I thought that learning about this assessment was going to be all that I need to be successful. But then at the very end of the training, after I learned for so many months how to use this assessment in my practice, I was told that if I was going to use it for real, I was going to have to pay the organization, the coach training program. So all the coaches in our class, we all looked at each other and we thought, wow, okay, so we're basically just going to make the organization more money instead of earning our own money. And I wish I had known something like that ahead of time, but I just didn't know better. And I didn't even end up using that assessment tool much in my practice, and I have not used it for years. I also had this assumption when I was searching around for coach training programs that the more training hours I'd get, the better. And on one hand, that's partially true because it's not realistic to take just a 5-hour course one day and then be all set to thrive as a coach. But also, there are some coach training programs that say, look, our training's 280 hours. And no, look at ours, it's 333 hours. So it's this race to add more hours. And I just think, but why? So I was in a program that was maybe around 300 or so hours. And to be honest with you, about 50% of those hours, I just felt like I was kind of wasting my time and just learning a lot of fluff. So in Thriving Coach Academy, we have a very comprehensive training. It goes on for 6 months, but we do not pile on hours and hours for the sake of piling on hours into our training. What we've done is we've simplified our curriculum to only teach our coaches the tools that they're going to use time and time again. So those are the things that I would say are not necessarily considerations to have, looking for a school that has an assessment that you can learn, or also just measuring a program's value based on whether it has more hours than the rest. It's truly about the quality of those hours over the quantity. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to share with you the 9 things to look for. And let me tell you, these 9 things are the only 9 things that matter. Nothing else matters. There are so many coach training programs out there, but not all of them are created equally. So let us dive in with the first thing to consider. The first thing you want to consider when you're looking at coach training programs and getting certified is finding a program that is accredited. Now, this is just the baseline of your search. This should be step 1. If a school is not accredited, it is not even worth considering. And I'm going to explain why. So if you think about the most prestigious and the most well-respected universities on the planet, they are all accredited universities, okay? So what accreditation means is that the entire curriculum from start to finish has been thoroughly reviewed by a governing body. It also means that the instructors and the members of the staff are also meeting certain guidelines to make sure that you are getting the most professional and the highest caliber of educators put in front of you. So if a program truly feels great about their curriculum, then they have no reason to not be accredited. Now, one of the best things about the coaching industry is that it's unregulated at the state and the government level. So what this means is that as coaches, we have the freedom to charge what we want, to work when we want, and to offer whatever we want to offer to our clients. We have no restrictions there. And with our industry being unregulated, there is also a governing body that is in place to make sure that coaches are performing at the highest level. And that governing body is known as the International Coach Federation, otherwise abbreviated the ICF. And they are the mothership of accreditation. So the ICF is the most academically trusted organizing body in the coaching industry worldwide. So they govern our industry and they also set the standard for ethics and professionalism. Now, the ICF does not give certification. What they do is they will review coach training programs, and if the program meets their standards, they will offer that program accreditation. Now, the way that you know if a program is accredited is if on that program's website you see ACTP. You will see a logo that says that they are an accredited coach training program. That's what ACTP stands for. Now, Thriving Coach Academy is a fully accredited coach training program. We meet all of the ICF standards, which is their highest distinction for accreditation. Now, having accreditation with the ICF, it means that our entire curriculum was thoroughly reviewed to make sure that we are teaching the core competencies that all coaches must master. It also means that our school is globally recognized as one of the top training programs available on the planet. And we at TCA, we continue to stay in very close contact with the ICF to make sure our accreditation stays valid and also to make sure that our program continues to meet their requirements. So that is the first consideration you want to have. Go for programs that are accredited. You want to get your money's worth. Now, the second consideration to have is you want to find a coach training program that offers one-on-one mentorship as part of the training you will get. Now, why is it important to get one-on-one mentorship? You want to have you want to have some kind of supervision when you are practicing coaching, so that way you know exactly how to improve your coaching skills. So having supervised mentorship means having someone who can listen to you coach. They can tell you exactly what you're doing right. They can tell you exactly what you're doing wrong. So one-on-one mentorship, it's going to give you tremendous feedback so you'll know exactly what you can improve on and also build upon what you're already doing well. Now, in Thriving Coach Academy, we assign every single one of our students a dedicated mentor coach. So this is a highly experienced and also a credentialed coach who will have private sessions with every one of our students scheduled at their convenience. And they listen to our coach's coach and they give them direct and constructive feedback. So our students don't ever have to worry about falling behind or not getting everything because they have their mentor coach who's their biggest supporter and is able to give them all that personalized feedback. So our mentor coaches are amazing. They make sure that our community is just rocking it, and you get to work with a mentor coach from start to finish. So that's the second consideration, is making sure that the coach training program offers a level of one-on-one mentorship. You want to have many sessions with a mentor coach. The third consideration to look for is that the coach training program has an active coach community. So you don't just want to go through your coach training solo, okay? You don't just want to passively learn coaching on your own. You want to be around other people so you can build a network. So that way you can have other individuals with similar goals and dreams to you. Now, sometimes we underestimate the value of community. Community is absolutely key to your success. You want to be in a community with other coaches. Now, you might realize right now, if you're thinking of becoming a coach, or even if you've already started your coaching, that a lot of people in your circle might not really get it. Your friends and your family, your colleagues, they might not really quite understand this whole coaching thing. I remember when I was looking to become a coach, no one else in my life had known what life coaching was. I was the trailblazer trying to show everyone, here's what coaching is, and I became the example of success. So you may find that is the case for you, and that is why it's so essential that you put yourself in a learning environment with other coaches, okay? When you have other coaches in the learning environment that you're in, they're going to ask questions that you didn't even think to ask. So your learning actually becomes amplified when you are a part of an engaged and an active coach community. And you also get to be inspired when you see other coaches who are having success. That will keep your momentum up. So one of the coolest things in Thriving Coach Academy is we have a Facebook group just for our students. And all the time we have coaches that are sharing their wins, their breakthroughs, their successes. And it's so inspiring because all of the coaches, especially the newer ones, they get to jump right in and they get to see what's possible for them. And then they get to become an example of what's possible for all the coaches that come after them. So in TCA, community is extremely important to us. We have many training modules that are delivered live where students get to collaborate and engage with one another. They even get to practice their coaching that they're learning with each other. And I would say that one of the most common pieces of feedback that we hear from our coaches is that they love the community that they're able to create with the other coaches in the academy. The people that they meet from all around the world, is one of the most incredible parts of their experience. And one of the cool things we do as well is we put our coaches in small groups so they can connect with each other weekly. They could really have that supportive peer-to-peer relationship and continue to fan the flames of each other's visions to make sure that they're all having amazing success. So that's the third consideration. You want to make sure that the program has an active coach community so that way you're not just kind of going on this journey by yourself. The fourth consideration you want to look for is that you are getting specialized training. This is a big one. So, are you just going to be learning generic coaching skills? Are you going to be learning how to apply those coaching skills to different focus areas of people's lives? So, you want to know how to take the coaching that you're learning and apply it to different parts of someone's life. Now, many coaches think of their specialty as their niche or their niche, however you pronounce it. And you can choose to have a niche when you grow your coaching business, or you can also choose to not have a niche when you go out into the world as a coach. But regardless, you want to know how to help people in any area of their life. You want to know how to take coaching skills and apply it to people's health, their relationships, their situations and challenges with time and money, and even just their spirituality and life purpose. You want to know how to take coaching tools and apply it to any part of someone's life. So if you do have a niche, getting access to a program that gives you specialized training will support you when you market yourself as a coach. For example, maybe you want to become a relationship coach. So getting relationship coach training is going to be so helpful for you because you'll know exactly how to really support people through challenges that they're going through in their relationships. Now, if you don't have a niche or you don't choose to have one, if you'd like to market yourself as a life coach, you still want to have access to specialized training because you're going to attract people wanting help with all kinds of transitions in their life, and you want to be equipped with everything you're going to need to support them. Now, in Thriving Coach Academy, we help you figure all of that out. We help you figure out your niche if you choose to have one or if you choose to not have one. And we also give all of our coaches specialty trainings on how they can apply coaching to every area of life. So we give our coaches a health and wellness coach training. We give them a relationship and couples coach training. We also have career, life purpose, executive, leadership, whatever topic you can imagine someone may need to be coached on, we have got you covered. And you get access to all of those trainings. You are not limited to just choosing one. It's not like choosing a major in college where you're locked into that major. You get access to all of it. One of the other cool things that we teach our coaches is how to do group training. So our coaches learn not just how to coach someone one-on-one, but also how to coach a group. So if you are ever desiring to coach more people in less time and really scale your practice, you'll know exactly how to facilitate powerful group coaching. So that is the fourth consideration, making sure that you're getting specialized training and not just generic coaching skills. Now, the fifth consideration you want to have is whether or not to go with virtual training or in-person training. Now, this is totally your call. It's really a personal preference. I have trained coaches in both settings. I've trained coaches virtually and I've trained coaches in person. And I used to think that in-person training was always better. But then the pandemic hit and everything changed. Education changed. And also, when the pandemic hit, it really did challenge how we all began to learn. And there was a big shift towards virtual learning. So to elaborate on this a little bit more, when I used to deliver coach trainings in person, here's what would end up happening. Usually I would deliver those coach trainings in hotels, and many of the students would be sitting in these hotel conference room chairs all day. And I remember many students felt very uncomfortable. There were also limited snack options. I remember I would always need to bring my own snacks. I would have to go grocery shopping and bring the food into the hotel. And many students would also feel like they'd have to bring in their own food because you're kind of limited with what the hotel gives you. Then there was also the expense of having to drive to the hotel or maybe fly in if you're coming from a different city. And then also the expense of staying in the hotel if you were visiting from out of town. So all of that, definitely, there's the added financial cost of it for each student, but there's also the physical toll that it takes on the body, from being in the uncomfortable chairs, having not the ideal food options and snack options. And I think that for sure impacted so many of the coaches' learning experience. Now I do all training virtually. And aside from the convenience of virtual training, I want to share here why I think virtual training has actually been better for coaches now that I've been able to see it from both sides. Because I used to have a lot of hesitation and fear around starting to do virtual coach training. I thought maybe it wouldn't be as transformative. Maybe the students wouldn't quite capture the material as much, but I've found the opposite to be true. Now, one of the things that sometimes people wonder is the level of interaction that they would have if they're in a virtual setting. Some people think if they're in person, they're going to have more interaction. Now, a couple of years ago, I went to a conference with about 5,000 people. It was a huge event. And even though the event went on for 4 days, I met maybe 3 people out of the 5,000 people. And I've also attended virtual events that only lasted a couple hours, and I met way more people than that. So technology has come so far. And one of the cool features that we do in our virtual classroom is we have what's called Breakout Rooms. So this is really an introvert-friendly feature that comes with virtual classrooms now, because the feature allows you to be sitting at your home, but you're able to be in different smaller groups and feel very safe and easy to connect with other people because there's structure around it. So one of our students, Bill, he hadn't been in a classroom setting for several decades. And I love that after he went through the program, he said that he found it to be just as engaging and fun as it would be if it were in person. And he was able to meet so many lifelong friends from being in the program, which I think is amazing. And it happened in a virtual environment. So I think another cool thing about a virtual classroom is the community piece. You get to meet people and expand your network beyond just the people that are local to you. And that is incredibly important because so many coaches nowadays, they run their entire business online. So you're not limited to just connecting and collaborating with people physically close to you. You have the opportunity to really, network with people all over the world. And if you are thinking about having your own online coaching business or doing your coaching business online, I think it's also incredibly helpful to see and be a part of a virtual classroom experience, because just you going through that may be a great lesson for you of knowing how to create your own virtual environment when you start doing your own coaching programs in the future. Now, Thriving Coach Academy, we're fully virtual. From start to finish, the entire program is all online. We are talking about hosting some in-person retreats only for our coach community later down the line so that our coaches can meet in person. But for the certification program, that is completely virtual. Now, the sixth consideration that you want to have in your brain when you're looking into coach training programs is finding a program where you can hear about the graduates. You could see their success stories. I believe that the credibility of a school is not based off of how long the school's been around, but on the graduates and their success. So a program may have been around for 20 or 25 years, but what do they really have to show for that, right? So I think the credibility of a school is really in the success of its coaches and also in the confidence of the coaches that finish those programs. So one of the things I'm most proud of with Thriving Coach Academy is that more than half of our students end up getting paying clients before they get certified. And this was a goal that we had over the past year. Our program lasts about 6 months. So we started to improve every part of our curriculum to see how we can support our coaches get clients sooner and sooner and sooner. And then we began finding that our coaches went from having our clients by the 6-month mark to the 5-month mark and then the 4-month mark. And now many are having paying clients between their 2nd and 3rd month just starting the program, which is amazing. Many of our coaches have a wait list of clients by the time they get to and finish our 2nd training module, which just makes me so excited. So we have all of our coaches' success stories that decide to contribute those posted on our website. And many of the coaches that I've been able to support and mentor, they are on track to earn 6 figures this year in their coaching businesses, which is so fun. Now, the seventh consideration you want to explore when you're pursuing coach training programs is knowing the business development that you're going to get from the training program. So this is huge. If you have a desire to run your own coaching business, it's essential that you have all the resources that are going to help you set that business up. So there is the art of coaching, there's learning the art of coaching, and then there's learning the business of coaching. And those are two very different skills. So you can be the most amazing coach on the planet, but if you don't know how to find potential clients, engage with them, and invite them to work with you, then you just have this gift that isn't being shared. And we don't want that to happen. So it's our goal to make sure that our coaches are learning how to share their gifts and also how to generate as much income as they'd like to make as a coach. Now, a lot of coach training programs will say, yeah, we give you business support, and they just kind of leave it at that. So to them, business support might be, we give our coaches a PowerPoint that they can use. And that's it. It's a PowerPoint that's made maybe 20 years ago, and you're just kind of left with that. So it's important to get curious about the caliber of business support you get and also the depth of business support you get. So one way to assess the value of really how beneficial the school's business training is going to be is just look at the school itself. How do they market themselves? Are they online? Are they engaged on social media? Do they have content that they're producing? Are they walking their talk? So one of the things that I remember hearing, I've heard this from many of our coaches, but one who comes to mind, his name is Shane, and he does health and wellness coaching. He said that what made it a no-brainer for him to go with Thriving Coach Academy is just how easy it was to navigate our website. And he said that he had been looking into some other coaching programs, and it was so difficult just to go around their website. It was complicated, it was confusing, and he thought, how on earth are they going to teach me how to market myself online when it seems like they're kind of a mess? So I remember we laughed about that, and then he ended up just rocking it as he went through TCA. Now, another thing to keep in mind when looking for a school with business support is knowing when their business materials were last updated. This is really key. So as technology evolves and as our society progresses, every industry has to keep adapting to keep up with the times. So marketing yourself as a coach in the early 2000s, even though it doesn't sound that long ago, it's crazy to think it was over 20 years ago at this point. Marketing yourself as a coach back then looks very different than it is marketing yourself as a coach today. Now, in the past year alone, every single industry has had to pivot just to figure out how to get through these uncertain times. And the coaching industry is no exception. So the way that coaches used to market their coaching services before even the pandemic, it's no longer effective. And that's why in the past year, we have fully updated our business development resources because we want to make sure that our coaches are continuing to thrive even during these uncertain times. So everything has been upgraded in 2020 and 2021. And some other coach training programs, they're just teaching business strategies that are now outdated given the changes that our world has gone through. And I think what makes our schools so unique is that they are getting the most sophisticated and the most modern business support that they could ever ask for. Now, when our students enroll, they get immediate access to what is called the Client Magnet Masterclass. This is an entire business training that shares proven templates and frameworks that we have seen work for our coaches, even during the pandemic. We also give our coaches training on how to become powerful public speakers. We give training on how to create online content and webinars. And we just released a brand new podcast training for any of our coaches that decide they want to launch and monetize their own podcast. So all of our students get access to an incredible amount of business support. And the coaches that have been able to go through our business materials, many of them have gone on to establish full-time coaching careers, which is amazing. Now, I know that the thought of putting yourself out there as a coach might sound a little bit intimidating right now, and we would love to support you with that. We want to show you exactly how our coaches get it done without needing to be aggressive or salesy. what we figured out is exactly how coaches can market themselves in a way that is inspiring and engaging. So if you follow our framework and you apply it, you're going to know exactly how to create your own coaching business that can earn you $10,000 or more per month by the end of the training. Now, even if that's not your goal, you're going to learn how to grow a coaching business at whatever the level it is that you want to create, whether it be full-time or part-time. So get curious about the business support that the coach training program is actually offering and make sure that you feel like you're going to get all of your needs met with that. All right, so the 8th consideration that you want to have when looking for coach training programs is that the school has a commitment to inclusion. Now, this is one that sometimes gets overlooked. Now, when I was being trained as a coach, I remember on the very first day of my training, the instructor was talking about limiting beliefs and how, people could have thoughts that could get in their way. And I raised my hand on day one and I was a little bit nervous to ask the question, but I said, well, what about if you're coaching a person of color? Like, are you supposed to just tell them that their mindset is the reason that they're experiencing racism? And I remember my trainer just looked at me like I had 8 heads. Now, I believe that coaches are leaders in society. And I believe that coaching can be a powerful tool to address all of the injustices that we face in our world today. So it's important to ask, does the program that you're looking at, do they believe that as well? Is the program inclusive and welcoming of all? So when you are looking into a program, what does their community look like? Do they show what success can look like as a coach from diverse backgrounds? And also, do they educate their coaches on how to be inclusive as a coach? Are they even having those conversations with their coaches? Now, in TCA, over 50% of the coaches that we've trained over the past year have identified as part of the BIPOC and the LGBTQ communities. And if you don't know what those acronyms mean, BIPOC, B-I-P-O-C, means Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. LGBTQ means lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. So it's not just in our student body that we find incredible diversity. We also have diversity represented in our leadership. So the majority of our staff and instructors come from minority groups. And we love that our coaches have the opportunity and our trainers have the opportunity to show what coaching looks like and what success looks like as a coach from different walks of life. One of the things we also teach our coaches about is how to support a client who is dealing with racism or homophobia or any kind of discrimination. We teach our coaches how to address these issues head on so that way they can coach mindfully and also know how to market their coaching practice in a way that is inclusive to all. We have a brand new diversity, equity, and inclusion training that is specifically tailored to coaches, and it will give you all the support that you need with that. Now, coaches have the opportunity to create a real and positive change in society, and I believe that it's important your coach training program gets that and also walks the talk. All right, so the final consideration to have when looking for a coach training program is that you are getting post-certification support. So what happens after you get certified? A lot of coaches don't consider this when they're looking for their certification program. Are you left to just figure things out on your own? What happens if you need additional support? Maybe if a year goes by after you get certified, then what? What are you left to do? So make sure you know what options you have after you receive your certification. For example, when I was trained, we were not allowed to reattend anything. We just had one shot to go through the program. So a lot of my peers felt like we had a lot of pressure on us to learn everything the first time. Sometimes it just kind of felt like they were just churning people out, just dishing out certifications, like on to the next group. So in Thrive and Coach Academy, we never want that to happen. We do not want our coaches to feel like they are just being kicked out the door with a piece of paper. So that is why we don't leave our coaches hanging. We are still available to you even after you get certified. We let all of our students redo any of our modules as a refresher, and they get to come back for no additional cost. That way they can continue to keep growing their network and also keep growing their skills. So you don't have to feel pressured or overwhelmed to rush at all. You truly get to go at your own pace. The program, the community, and our team are always there for you. So those are the 9 considerations to have when you are looking for a coach training program. Now, I want to also share just a little tip if you are someone that is shopping around right now, looking for the right school for you. Sometimes we call it due diligence when we say, I'm just doing my due diligence, but really it's a form of fear and procrastination. So I want to invite you to be decisive as you are looking for a coach training program. Give yourself a timeline to make your decision. I recommend not giving yourself any more than 1 week. Any more time you need after that, just consider, what if it's just procrastination? What if you are just afraid, okay? So the sooner that you get started with any school that meets your criteria, that meets the criteria that I shared here, the sooner you can learn how to become a confident coach and get clients. So I want to share exactly how to apply and enroll in Thriving Coach Academy if you're looking to go with our school. I want to share with you the 3 simple steps that you need to take if you want to get started. The first step is you'll go to our homepage, which is www.thrivingcoachacademy.com. And on that page, you will see a button that will let you download our program guide and also our Coaching 101 training. So this is a video training where I lay out exactly how our program is designed from start to finish. I share everything you need to know right when you're getting started. After you watch that, the second step is to schedule an admissions call with our team. So this will be a call led by myself. It might be led by another team member where we'll answer any other questions that have come up for you. These are not sales calls. They're more like a life strategy call because we help you create a vision for your life and I make sure that you are set up for success. We want to make sure that you have a plan, that you're hitting all your goals as a coach. And if we feel that we can absolutely support you, then we will invite you to enroll in the academy. And that's what leads to the third step, which is registration. So we complete our registration over the phone. Once a student enrolls, they are in. They get immediate access to our student portal where they get our core training. They can dive in right away. And we also ship out hard copies of our coach training manuals right away. Now, again, sometimes I'm on those calls. Sometimes it's another team member. If you do have me on a call and you're a listener from this podcast, be sure to let me know so we can just celebrate that a little bit. So that is exactly how you get certified as a coach. Those are the most important things to consider. And I want to end by saying this. When I invested in my own coach training, it was the scariest and it was the most expensive investment I had ever made in myself at the time. And it was also the best investment I had made in myself. So this is an investment in yourself. And it might feel uncomfortable if you haven't invested in yourself for a while, or maybe at all. So what I often hear from our coaches is, I am so happy that I made this investment in myself. I'm so happy that I remembered that I was worth this investment. So however you get certified or whomever you get certified with, I want you to know that you are worth it. And if you have a big mission, it will require big support. And I believe that you deserve the best support you can possibly get. All right, that's what I got in this episode. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coaches' secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.